In the last few hours, Bitcoin has swept all of the buy-side liquidity sitting at 69K, and the price has pushed towards the $72,000 level. Now, this move is extremely important. We was discussing this exact resistance zone in yesterday's video. So now that liquidity above it has been taken, the big question becomes, is that level about to flip into support and send Bitcoin into the next leg higher? So in today's video, what I'm going to break down for you is why the 69K level is so important right now, how the market structure shift is happening on the lower time frames, the supply zone around 72.5K that could trigger a short-term pullback, plus the trades that I'm currently positioned in. Now, 90% of the people watching these videos aren't subscribed, guys. So if you want to stay ahead of these moves, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want my exact trade entries, stop loss updates, and live trade management, you can join the free Telegram group in the description below. Let's dive into the content. Now, we're going to begin with the macro backdrop because this is the news that's driving the market today. Lamborghini just announced that they will start accepting Bitcoin payments in the United States. Now, this is a massive signal for adoption. We're not talking about some small company here. This is a global luxury brand. And when companies like this start accepting Bitcoin, it pushes the narrative even further that Bitcoin is becoming a real global payment asset. But that's not even the craziest part. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes that's making a difference. Today, massive institutions and exchanges have been accumulating Bitcoin. Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Satoshi Era wallets, Galaxy Digital, they've all accumulated thousands of Bitcoin. And on top of that, BlackRock clients have bought $322 million worth of BTC as well. So altogether, I've done some maths. When you tally this all together, right, it totals over $4.2 billion worth of Bitcoin bought in an extremely short period of time. Now, when people ask why Bitcoin is pumping right now, this is the reason. Massive institutional accumulation. So when institutions start buying at this scale, it usually means they're expecting much higher prices ahead. So with the macro wrapped up, let's dive into the technicals, and we're going to begin with Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And the daily is where that 69K level of importance actually lives. Now, the reasoning for this level and why it's so important is because, one, we had a level of resistance at 69K that was failing to break on several occasions. Bitcoin, however, did come back and build these higher lows, and now we've seen the push. So we've actually broken through, swept the buy side liquidity, broken through that key level, and pushed to the next level of resistance that we also discussed in yesterday's video. Now, that level of resistance is at 72K. We had levels of resistance and points of contact in this zone on multiple days back in early February. So now that we've seen the first point of contact, or the first major point of contact back in this territory, it kind of opens the door for the possibility of retracing back down to the level that we broke out from, the 69K level, to turn that previous resistance into a level of support. So if we do see rejection from this level at 72K, then 69K is the first area we could see a Bitcoin potentially continue to mark these higher lows to initially see a breakout of the 72K resistance. So I hope you're with me. We've got supply at 72K, rejection and pulling back to 69K for a level of support is the first area of interest to look for the official 72K break. So turning that level into support. Now, if we take this over into the 2-hour time frame, this is where we're getting that potential market structure shift. Now, we have a level of support below, which does also sit at 66K. So if we do reject from the supply zone, the 72.5K level importance we've spoke about again in previous videos, the previous level of resistance from early February, if we do see rejection and continue lower, and we initially sweep slightly below the 69K level, then it opens the possibility of tapping into this order block at 66K. And that's where another higher low could form before initially going for a larger break. And it's the same sort of structure we saw before. Bitcoin had a market structure shift. Once it initially broke out of 66K, it then tapped into 70K and pulled back to a bullish OB. We've now got a breakout from the bullish OB. We've got a potential market structure shift occurring. And for that to unfold, a potential reversal back down towards the 66K level could open the possibility for that higher low before the extension. So you see how it all ties in. We go from the larger time frames where Bitcoin is showing strength on the 8-hour. We've got the official buy-side liquidity sweep, which again, we've stated, I hope you didn't sell your Bitcoin in panic because, you know, back down at these levels when you're building higher lows, this is where we see those exact liquidity hunts actually unfold. So it ties into the daily, it then ties into the 2-hour, and this is why we're seeing these bullish reaction. Again, it also resorts back to the developments with institutional adoption, Bitcoin being scooped up thousands by major institutions and exchanges, BlackRock also on the playing field. So this is why the Bitcoin environment is seeing such strong relief. But however, we are running into those supply zones. So a pullback is a likely scenario before we actually go for the official attempt. So now with Bitcoin wrapped up across multiple time frames and with guidance from the macro developments in the background, let's take this over to our trading environment. And we're going to begin with ETH. Now, ETH, I noticed as soon as Bitcoin was starting to shift its character and show strength, I kind of already knew that holding a short on Ethereum didn't make sense anymore, right? So initially what I did was move my stop loss up to break even when we saw the strength, and initially it's ended as a no profit, no loss trade. Now that's perfectly fine. Capital preservation always comes first for us at Bitcoin on Point. So we'll take that over into Link now as well. Now, the Link trade setup is actually one that's developing very nicely. So again, once I realized Bitcoin was turning bullish, I became more confident in this setup, and we've seen a bullish reaction from the green support trend line. We've respected and broken key levels at around $8.80, and we've seen a significant breakout. Now it's worth noting that we have run into a level of resistance where sort of Links ran into in the past, but if we do continue to come back and continue building higher lows, this is what's going to build the structure in going for that next attempt and actually looking to succeed in our $9.69 TP target. So, you know, initially the trade started with 0.5% risk, by the way. I increased it to 1%, and that's because of the strength. So the full exposure is now 2% on this trade, as the setup has continued to validate, and this is exactly how you should manage positions. You don't go all in at the start. You initially want to build into the trade as the market proves your idea is right. It's how professional risk management actually works. So with wrapping up our trades, ETH, you know, we brought our stop loss up to break even. We've missed out on that, but no biggie. You know, we've protected our capital, and Link is going beautifully well. It's respecting structure, respecting ascending support. Coming back for a higher low here to continue the momentum is completely fine. So now let's take a look at our trading environment where we've taken an account from $10,000 to $11,100 so far. The aim is to get to 100K. So we're up $1,160 in profit. We've got a 60% win rate. Our average win over losses is $230 to $54. And look, you can track all of this on the Profits Precision dashboard. You get 30 days of free access for this platform, and it's great for monitoring all of the trading environment. But, you know, if you do want to keep up to date with all of the execution, the stop losses, all of it around the trades, make sure to join our Telegram. The link is in the description below. It's where all of the action is taking place. So to summarize today's video, Bitcoin is showing strength. It's pushed to 72K. However, it's a major level of resistance we have discussed. So the potential drawback to at least 69K before the continuation is a possible scenario. Failing that, we do have a bullish order block below at 66K waiting for a market structure shift on the lower time frames. ETH, we took a break even, and Link is showing fantastic structure with a bullish breakout, looking for a pullback before continuation to our targets. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Until next time, peace out.